This is Secret America.
Welcome, everybody. I am Jack Danger along with Jay Gatling, and some crazy stuff has happened over the past few days. Jay, I'm talking about the first thing I got to talk about is this whole U-Haul business. I mean, this guy apparently, actually, you know what I want to know? First of all, I want to know because apparently there's a lot of misinformation out there about what happened here. So, Jay, I'm gonna talk to you. You're gonna be the average citizen here, okay? Tell me what happened. What is out there that they're saying happened?
Well, from what I heard and have seen, there was a protest, pro-Iranian protests going on, like is going on in Iran as well, where people are getting killed. And it was in Los Angeles, and a U-Haul truck with things written on the side of it. What I heard, it was jihadist stuff written on the side of it. Drove into the crowd, ran people over, I believe severely injured some people. And then the crowd started to go after the truck to get the driver out of the truck. And I'll comment about that after you now tell me if what I heard was true.
Okay, so did they
injured? I don't know if I heard if anybody died yet.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what really happened.
Okay.
All right. So apparently there was this U-Haul truck, like you said, it had large banners on the side. It was not jihadist stuff, actually. It was in English and obviously some in Farsi, Persian, and Arabic. That it said no Shah, which means they were opposing the restoration or return of the monarchy, the Shah, which is basically like a king, if you will, which was pre-1979 Iran. They say it said no regime, which is rejecting the current Islamic Republic theocracy, where, you got the supreme leader of Iran and all that. And then it also says USA don't repeat 1953, referencing the USA-backed CIA coup that overthrew, Iran's government at that time. They overthrew Iran's prime minister, Mohammad Mossadegh, and reinstated the Shah, which, created the monarchy pre-1979 Iran, and no mullah, which is opposing clerical rule. Mullahs are like the religious leaders that, like those in the current regime now, So basically, it was just signage on that U-Haul that was opposing the current rule of Iran, which the protesters, that's what they're opposing. Also the current rule of Iran, but also opposing the pre-1979 rule of Iran, which is, which was the monarchy, basically like a king, one person control, that kind of thing. Basically what those things were saying was they wanted a more democratic thing, kind of like the United States. And let me tell you, so there was no real jihadist stuff on there. Though that's the actual translations of those things. No Shah, no regime, no mullah, USA, don't repeat 1953. Those were the words that were on this U-Haul. Now, people say that this U-Haul rammed people indiscriminately and severely injured people. But let me tell you, there was only one person that was injured, and it was very minor. A very minor injury. It was only one person that was injured, and it was very minor. And let me tell you why I think this person was in the right. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this U-Haul, and I have video showing such, this U-Haul came there to protest with these people, apparently, because they were against, they're kind of with and against, if you will, because the people that were protesting the current Iranian regime, which this person in the U-Haul was against also, but a lot of the flags and signs there were for pre-1979 Iran, which is the monarchy, which he is also opposing. He's opposing basically all dictatorial rule. These people want pre-1979 Iran, which is still, a monarchy, which is still one person ruling everything kind of thing, So that's what he came there to do. He didn't come there to hurt anybody. As you can tell, he was in a U-Haul that could have ran over everybody, but didn't. He was in a U-Haul that could have ran over everybody, but didn't. I mean, he could have killed many, many people, but he only injured one person, and that was because they started attacking his U-Haul. If someone's attacking your vehicle, busting your window, slamming on the hood, what are you going to do? You got to get out of there the best you can. He went really, really slow. Let me show you what he took. I want to show everybody how much this man took before he decided to go. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring this up right here. Let's see here. I want you to go ahead and watch this. For some reason, it's not there. It is. Okay, I don't know how well you can see it, but we're gonna go ahead and watch it anyway. I'm gonna pull it up a little bigger. Is that a little better? Yeah, that's better. Okay, good. All right, so I want you to check this out. He's just chilling. You know, he's not saying anything. He's got his signage, and they start beating on the vehicle. And he sits there for a good while. I mean, he actually takes a lot before he decides to move and try to get the hell out of there. Now, we can watch this entire video, but it's a long video, so let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit. All right, you see how now they're ripping down his signage? They're ripping his signage off his U-Haul. They're beating on his vehicle. And then look, they busted the window. You see the window right there busted?
Yeah.
They shattered his window. Okay? What else is he going to do? Look, they're trying to get in the vehicle. They're trying to unlock the door. Look, he goes slowly, and then he stops. He's trying to get out of there because people are getting into his windows right now. That is what happened right there. They tried to get inside of his windows, so he had to get out of there. I mean, he had no real other option at that point. So if you ask me, this is just a man that went there peacefully. He even had his flashers on, and he was sitting there until they started ripping down his signage, busting his windows, and then going through the window, trying to open the doors. So for everybody out there, that is what really happened.
I got questions.
Go ahead.
How did he get the U-Haul that close even to those people on a street that was obviously closed off? Again, kind of like what we saw. And I'm not saying it's the same situation at all that we saw in New Orleans last New Year's.
Well, no. That guy went there with the intention of hurting people. This man went there and he sat there with his flashers on. How he got there, I don't know. He might have got there. He might have been there before all of them. You have no idea. He could have been one of the early people. You don't know.
I'm not saying he went there to hurt anybody. I'm watching the video and he's sitting there.
He was just sitting there until they busted his windows and ripped down his signage.
How is he even allowed to get there?
He was probably one of the first people there.
That's a security problem, regardless of what his intentions were. There shouldn't be a truck allowed to get that close to that amount of people on a close street.
I know, but you're missing the point here.
I see your point.
Yeah,
he's not.
My point is that he was there peacefully protesting.
I get it.
That's what people don't understand, though.
I get it.
And he could have been one of the first people there. Maybe that's why they didn't. Maybe that's why he was in there, because he might have been the first people there waiting.
Then he should be told to move, and that's fine if he's peaceful. And I'm saying even somebody that's peaceful, if his intentions, and you displayed something that lends me to believe that it wasn't just him driving through a crowd. I saw it. It's not what happened. Okay. No. My point is, why is he even anybody with any truck allowed to get that close to that gathering?
Well, that's a police and security issue.
That's where my mind always goes, obviously.
But in terms of this right here, I'm trying to prove to everybody that this man was in the right when he did what he did.
Okay. Yeah, I could see. They busted his windows. They were attacking his vehicle, ripping down the signage, whatever he had on there.
Are you just going to stand there and let them rip you out of the vehicle and beat the hell out of you?
Absolutely. No, nobody should be able to rip you out of the vehicle. And he only
injured one person, and it was minor injury.
Okay. And again, we don't see that footage on the regular.
Exactly.
Nobody's posting that.
They're not going to show it on the news.
A very important piece of video you just posted that you just showed us to add context to this entire situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to err to the side now where you are with saying, okay, this guy, first of all, his signage wasn't jihadist and this and that.
No.
He didn't agree 100% with everybody there, but he certainly wasn't somebody that was pro Ayatollah.
No.
Not
he
at
was
all.
Anti any monarchy or any kind of
right. So my whole problem, again, know how this stuff happens when you have police departments that don't know what the hell they're doing. Because
that's a separate issue, though. Yeah,
but it's a big part of all of this. Why is that truck allowed to even be there? It's first of all, it's a damn U-Haul. We always look out for rental trucks, Jack. That's one of the things we always look
ever
out
since
for.
the Oklahoma City bombing, everybody looks out for rental trucks.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I understand that part of it, and that is a big part, but that's a separate issue here because this guy was there peacefully.
Right.
He was there peacefully.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to my other part of this where the
media doesn't show that.
Well, we also saw the video widespread, and I posted it last night where he was being protected by the cops from being ripped out of his vehicle. Now, whether or not, take everything you just set out. Let's say he's a criminal. Let's just hypothetically, he's a criminal. The cops were actually doing the right thing to prevent him from being mob ruled and beaten to death. We don't do that in this country. We don't let mobs beat people. That's not what we do. We don't have mob justice in this country, right?
No, that's actually democracy is actually mob justice.
Correct. So the cops are actually doing the right thing by protecting him from being pulled out of that vehicle, whether he was there peacefully or not, right? Let's just take that out of it.
Oh, of course. They were definitely doing the right thing, protecting him. And it even adds an even more righteous thing that he was there peacefully and not trying to hurt anybody.
Correct.
You got to think, he's in this big-ass U-Haul. If he wanted to, he could have mowed down 30 people.
Yeah, absolutely. He could have went through at a high rate of speed and just plowed through everybody. But my question was last night, it would be nice if the cops in this country, especially in blue cities, would give ICE that same kind of protection when they're trying to carry out their operations. And if they did, we wouldn't have our Minnesota situation. But another topic, but it was just something I took from the situation.
No, I know. You look at it from a security and law enforcement perspective. I completely understand. And that's good. It's good to have somebody that looks at it from that perspective. But I was just trying to prove to everybody that this man came there peacefully. He had no hateful messaging on his vehicle. And he was there with his flashers on, sitting there for 5-10 minutes while they beat the hell out of his vehicle, ripped down his signage, smashed his windows. He only started going when they tried to rip open his door and go through the window.
Great video.
I mean, who would not do that?
No, great video. Great video that you just showed. That absolutely adds a ton of context to this situation that I did not see, and I'm on X all day, that I didn't see posted once. So thank you for that. Great job.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, the media, and it's, X lets a lot of things in there, but the media especially, they're not going to show that stuff because they want you to watch them. So they're going to inflame the situation. This man was no, New Orleans, killer. This man was no Waukesha, Wisconsin, or whatever the hell it was, Christmas driver. This man was just a peaceful protester, had signage on his U-Haul. That way everybody could see it. And then, they were the ones that started going insane on him, and even with all of that happening, even with them smashing the windows, trying to pull him out, he still made sure that he barely injured anybody going forward. Only one person, minor injuries. You can look that up if you'd like.
Okay. Awesome. Great job. That's what we do in this program. Perfect.
Exactly. That's exactly what we do on this program. Try to reveal the secrets that you can tell that the media damn sure won't reveal. I can promise you that. Yep. So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. I wonder if anybody knows that there was a Wisconsin teenager that just admitted to killing his parents in a plan to assassinate President Trump and flee to Ukraine. Wonder if anybody knows that. He just pled guilty to killing his parents so that way he could steal their money and fund his assassination of President Trump and then flee to Ukraine. Absolutely insane. I'm going to play just a short thing right here just to show you what I'm talking about, because this, you don't see this kind of thing every day. It's one thing to do, stupid things, but kill your parents to fund some kind of insane plan to assassinate President Trump. Who the hell does that? Anyways, here you go. Take a quick listen to this. Check it out.
Morning, 18-year-old Nikita Kassab pleaded guilty to the 2 homicide counts filed nearly a year ago. 12 News' Nick Bohr reports from the Waukesha County Courthouse, where Kassab just made that stunning admission.
And as to count 2, Tatiana Kassab, the same questions for you. Did you take an action? Did you use a handgun to shoot her and kill her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was that your intent, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit you committed both of these offenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
18-year-old Nikita Kassab quietly admitting an almost unimaginable act, shooting his mother Tatiana and her husband Donald Meyer to death in the village of Waukesha home they all shared last February. Kassab is pleading guilty to the 2 homicide counts in exchange for the state dropping all other charges, including hiding a corpse and theft, in hopes for some measure of leniency when he's sentenced. Kassab shot his parents in the head in mid-February, then lived in the house for nearly 2 weeks before stealing $14,000, their car, and fleeing cross-country before he was arrested in Kansas. The only motive prosecutors could determine was found during a federal investigation into an alleged plan to kill President Trump and flee to Ukraine.
Kill President Trump and flee to Ukraine. These people are nuts. I don't want to say this is your average liberal, because it's not, but you don't see right-wingers doing this crazy stuff. I'm sorry.
And I'll say this, he's making the Menendez brothers blush. Not only kill his
Yeah.
parents. He was going to assassinate a president.
True
I mean,
that.
this kid's way off the reservation, and he's going to Ukraine. And Jack, can you help me out? What's in the water in Waukesha, Wisconsin?
I have no idea. So, yeah, you're right. The Christmas killer was just there, just did this, something where he mowed down a bunch of people on Christmas, which was insane. I don't know what's going on over there. It's got to be in the water. But I'll tell you, when you said the Menendez brothers, I could go off on a tangent on that, man. I have evidence that doesn't exonerate them, but gives you a pretty damn good motive and a reason for maybe giving them leniency.
Did you see that movie on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
I loved
yeah.
it. I thought it was fantastic.
It was spectacular, man.
Yeah.
Spectacular. And it gives you an excellent motive and honestly a reason for why they should get some leniency.
We'll see what happens. I mean, those two, that whole thing, and I was, you're younger than me, but I remember when that was going on and it was just non-stop. The media couldn't get enough of those two. It was crazy.
Did you ever see the basketball card?
No.
There is a basketball card of Mark Jackson, the point guard for the Knicks.
Went to St. John's. Sure.
Yeah. The Menendez brothers were sitting in the front row of a basketball game, and they got their picture snapped. It was Mark Jackson. They're in the background. They had already killed their parents at this point, and they're sitting front row at the game. It's on a basketball card. Google it if you don't believe me. It's crazy.
That is so funny. What was it? A game in LA with the Knicks against the Lakers?
No, it was in New York.
It was in New York?
Maybe it was in LA. I'm not 100%
It had to be in
sure.
LA. These guys,
actually, you know what?
Yeah.
Talk for a second. I'm going to look that up real quick.
All right. Yeah. I'm thinking it had to be in LA because if these two went across country after that, I tell you, they were even better than I thought. But if you haven't seen that movie about the Menendez brothers on Netflix, I highly recommend it. It's pretty good.
Oh, it's excellent.
Is it a movie or was it episodes, Jack?
No, it was. It was actually a show. Yeah, it was episodes, but it was like a long movie. It was like a long movie.
Yeah,
but let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here.
Right.
I want to. This is insane. Check this out right here. I'm gonna pull this up because I actually found the card. I found the card, and I'm gonna see if it'll let me pull this up right here. Here it is. Okay, Mark Jackson right here. Check this stuff out right here. Add. And look right there. You see him right there?
Yeah.
That is them right there in the red circle. That's them right there. If you can see that, they are right there. And it looks like it's in New York. They're wearing Knicks hats. The Knicks, right? I don't know if it's in New York or not. It's probably in LA. But
I don't know.
Go ahead.
That could be in New York.
It very well could be. But that's a basketball card of point guard Mark Jackson. They had killed their parents at this point already, and they're sitting in the front row. So, whenever somebody talks about them, I think of that basketball card right there.
And that could be New York, Jack. He's wearing home white.
Yeah, it very well could be.
Yeah.
It very well could be. But that's what I think about every time I see it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mark Jackson, alumni of, my school that I went to, St. John's. There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, man, I mean, there's so much, craziness going on. I mean, you can see how, that guy with his, parents planned to assassinate Donald Trump. I just don't see how that was going to work. You kill your parents, but get this. He wanted to assassinate President Trump, right?
Yeah.
But why would you kill your parents and then wait 2 weeks and then steal $14,000 and go try to kill President Trump? By then, everybody's going to report them missing. The smell's going to be really bad. He's living in a house with a smell that's got to be astronomically terrible. 2 weeks with 2 dead bodies, and then he gets the money and goes to do whatever he was going to do. Absolutely, bonkers, man. But I mean, I guess you're not in your right mind if you're going to think about doing this anyway.
I just thought of this, Jack. He was going to Ukraine. What about the guy on the golf course? Didn't he have ties to Ukraine also? Ryan Roush?
Yeah, actually he did.
Ukraine?
He did have ties to Ukraine. So
yeah,
you never know what's really going on here.
And here's my other thought on this before you move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
This is a big story.
Where
was this story, Jack? Where was this story?
That's the thing. You're not going to hear about these stories unless you're watching Secret America, because that's what we do. We uncover the secrets out there that the media and the government don't want you to know.
Unbelievable. If this was a reverse and it was a Democrat president, this would have been the Menendez reincarnated.
You know it.
This kid killing his parents, right? You don't hear about it. Another attempt, a credible attempt on President Trump's life. Unbelievable.
He was going to do it. I mean, had he not been caught going cross country, he very well would have done some kind of attempt. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
So, real quick, before we go on to another thing, I've got a moment of levity right here. You know, just a little bit of funniness, a little bit of happiness that I want to bring your way. This is hilarious, okay? And I want everybody to see this. I'm going to pull this up real quick. It makes me laugh every time I see it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. I want you to see this. This is so dang funny, man. This is hilarious. Okay, so check out the Minnesota Timberwolves, okay? So now, in honor of Renee Good, the woman that was killed, you know, in the ice altercation, these guys on the Timberwolves, some of them actually pierced their nose, some of them dyed their hair, and a lot of them were wearing knit caps during the national anthem. Take a look.
Does that star spangled banner yet?
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
did you see that?
Wait a
Was
minute.
that not absolutely insane?
Hold
Jay?
on a second. Who overdubbed? That's Fergie singing at the All-Star game a few years ago. Who overdubbed that on there?
Oh, I don't know.
That's Fergie at the All-Star game a couple of years ago.
Oh, I don't know who
like-
dubbed that on there.
Okay, because somebody dubbed that on there. Because,
Oh, yeah. But did you see them?
yes.
Did you see how they look?
This is mental illness.
No. I'm going to tell you real quick before you go on. That was an AI video. But the reason I showed it is because everybody watching that believed that. They would believe that. That tells you the times we're living in right now, that video was believable. That is why I showed it, to show everybody, to feel the times that we live in right now, that kind of shit's believable.
Hold on a second. All right, you got to give me some credit because I picked up on Fergie right away.
You did. You
All
did.
right.
And I was hoping you wouldn't say anything about it because I wanted more people to. But once you said that, it was hard to kind of, it's okay though.
I couldn't help it. I had to say it. But
Hey, it's all good, man. It's all
I didn't
good.
know where you were going with this, and I didn't want everyone to think, wait a minute, did Jack not realize that that's Fergie from a couple of years ago?
No, that's great. That's great. And I'm glad you picked up on that. But the video itself was believable. And that tells you the times we're living in right now, that people would say, okay, yes, they probably did wear the knit caps, pierce their noses, color their hair. A black basketball team became liberal white women.
Yeah.
And we believed it. That was believable, that a black basketball team became liberal white women. That was believable just now.
I'm telling you, listen, I wouldn't have put it past them. And the only thing I was wondering is that, they didn't take a knee, because that's what I was waiting for next.
You got that right. That's funny. But it's just mind-boggling that people can see that, think that, these black basketball players became liberal white women, and it's probably real. That's the sad part. That's what I was trying to prove to everybody just now. And everybody bought it. I promise you that. There's not one person that said, hey, that's AI, unless they didn't already know that.
Yeah, unless they picked up on Fergie, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But man, still, that's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that that's the times we live in. That's just, that was my point here, that's just incredible, the times we live in now.
Sure is.
But all right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. There are lots of things to talk about. I mean, there are paid protesters out there. There are actually video evidence of different paid protesters out there showing them at all these different protests. I mean, they're being paid, and it's showing them at all the, this person here, this person. It's actually crazy. But I want to show you how bad the mind virus has gotten in America. We thought that, wokeism was dying. But it might be dying among the average person, but among the leftists, it is still very strong. I want to show you something. There is a white woman talking to a reporter, and she says that it feels wrong for paying her respects to Renee Good, but not for the reason that you think, not because she was antagonizing ICE and got what she deserved. That's not why she's saying it. She's saying it because she's a white woman who's privileged, and white tears are not helpful. In fact, I'm not even going to play the video. It just pisses me right off. But these people are mentally ill. What is happening here, man? She's saying that her white tears don't matter because she's privileged, so she shouldn't mourn anybody. The virus. I don't understand the thought process here. What is happening, Jay?
I say all the time that in 2016 or 2015, when a certain person came down an escalator and decided to run for president, that something in certain people's brains snapped. And I'm not being funny. Something
you're right.
happened. Something happened. We've talked about it on this program that TDS is actually now being officially treated by doctors.
Yep, they are prescribing medication for it, And
Yeah.
it actually has everything to do with the media, if you ask me.
Well, the media, yes, the media, and they love it because they take advantage of these people. They manipulate.
They perpetuate it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they manipulate, they perpetuate all of this stuff. And because it makes them money, it gets them ratings, it gets people glued to the TV. If President Trump, remember when President Trump wasn't president, how far did the ratings go down on MSNBC and CNN? Because they don't have any, there's nobody there for these people to just sit there and just hate. And it's really sick. It is a mental condition. I think we really need to. I know I'm glad we're treating it, but I think it needs to actually be diagnosed as why it's happening, because we've never seen anything like this. The fact that this woman could say, "My white tears don't," to say something like that, you like it's mental illness.
Gotta be. There's no other excuse for it. I mean, white guilt is just, and it's all perpetuated by the media. These people watch CNN, MSNBC, and all they do is rile them up with lies, with text pulled out of context, with, spliced up videos. They show them lies, and these people eat it up. Why? Because they want to. In order to believe stuff like this, you have to want to believe it, because most of it's not true, and it's not true. But you believe it because you want to, Jay. And that's the problem we have in America right now.
No, exactly. They know these people want to hear something bad about President Trump, about his administration. So this whole thing that happened with Renee Good, and I'm going to start it by saying this. The only person responsible for Renee Good's death is Renee Good. End of story. She's the one responsible. Nobody else. She put herself in that situation. She's the one who did it, of sound mind, from what we could tell. Okay, you could be a little crazy and still know what you're doing. She knew what she was doing. She was going out there to antagonize and disrupt lawful law enforcement operations. Something bad could very possibly happen, and it did. But they want something like this to use it, and they will. It's President Trump's fault. President Trump's not doing anything wrong. In fact, President Trump's actually enforcing the laws that have been passed by Congress in our country. That's all he's doing. There's nothing crazy about what ICE is doing right now, everybody. They're actually just enforcing immigration law. That's all they're doing. The people around them are the crazy ones, the ones fomenting the chaos. It's not ICE. They're just doing their job. And the fact that we have local police departments that won't enforce local laws, such as disorderly conduct, is why these people are allowed to do this and why we end up with a tragedy. So, again, you're right. They want this. The more bad things happen, the better it is for our disgusting media, period.
No, you're absolutely right. And by the way, when the Timberwolves video that I just showed you was funny, and people very easily could believe it, but I will tell you, the Timberwolves did hold a moment of silence for Renee Good last night. They did, and a fan during this moment of silence, a fan yelled "F ICE." They actually said the word "F ICE," and it elicited cheers from some of the people in the arena. That's how messed up the average person is. And let me show you something. The average person has no idea what they're even talking about. The stuff that they hear, they regurgitate, but they don't know what it means. Let me show you something right here. These people have no idea what they're talking about when they're asked these questions right here, Jay. And it shows you this is the average person in America, the average liberal in America. They have no idea, and this is what I'm talking about.
I am genderqueer, transmasc, and queer.
What's transmasc?
Transmasc is like people under the non-binary umbrella identifying or presenting masc.
They have no idea what they're talking about here.
I'm trans, and my sexuality is unlabeled.
Unlabeled.
I use he, him pronouns.
Yeah, and I use they pronouns.
Fluid.
Can you explain what that means to me a little bit more?
Whatever turns you on.
He, her, it. I feel like honestly, it should not be a bad thing. Like, I've talked to people who go with they and them. I'm like, well, in the grammar of things, how would you want to represent yourself? It's like, I mean, I guess it, because it's like you're it. You're the it.
You are the it. That is the average liberal American now. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're just regurgitating shit that they hear, Jay.
My brain hurts. I can't even, if I hear somebody talking like this, well, first of all, just by the blue hair and all the other nonsense.
Oh, I know.
But say it was somebody that looked, normal, like, blonde hair, whatever, wearing normal clothes, whatever, you see person, everything. But once if they started talking like that, conversation's over. If I hear the word cis come out of somebody's mouth, I end the conversation right there. I just know that we're not going to get anywhere. And if you haven't heard me before, if you're new to the show, the way I start out a conversation now with somebody who might be politically opposed to me is I just ask a simple question. Can a biological man get pregnant? If the person can't answer that question within a second to no, then I know it's probably not worth having the conversation because they're on a totally ridiculous, non-rational wavelength, and it's a waste of time. And that's what we had right there. A waste of time.
No, it absolutely is a waste of time. But Deborah brings up an interesting point. If people would quit giving them a platform, they'll go away. They will go away. These people, the reason that they're all gravitating towards this is, for one, mental illness is a big part of it for a lot of them. But for some of them, they just have no place in society. They feel lost. They feel alone. Mm-hmm. So they can go join this group and feel like they're a part of something. Yep. And they can get their attention from the media, from people. Hey, look at me. I got blue hair. Why do you think they put on the blue hair, the rainbow makeup? Because they can get attention. Whether it's good or bad, they feel noticed. They no longer feel lost and alone. They no longer feel like they don't matter. Okay, that's why they do these things. That's why most of them do these things, Jay.
Doesn't if not most every teenager at some point feel the way you just said?
Oh, of course. Right? But that's why this is less than 1% of people. But I mean, these 1% feel it a little harder than the rest.
And they're the ones that need help. They don't need to be coddled and enabled and encouraged. They actually need the most help.
Oh yeah,
right. And we're not giving it to them. We're actually saying, yeah, you go, you be you. No, that's not a productive member of society. That's not going to be a productive member of society. That's not what we need here. These people, listen, it is what it is. Would you hire that person if you owned a business, Jack?
Oh, hell no.
Of course not. My mother, Jack, listen, she was a little more strict. I wasn't allowed to get an earring. Okay. My mother wouldn't let me get an earring. And I think that's a little strict, but she said, no, it's hard enough out there. People are going to judge you anyway. There's no
but you
reason
can remove the earring.
Well, yeah, and you could remove it, but I wasn't allowed. If I ever came home with an earring, would have got ripped out, Jack.
No, I'm saying she said people will judge you, and I was just saying, you could remove it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that's my point. You see my point. This is, completely out of it's out of.
Oh yeah,
this is nuts. It's nuts.
Insane, absolutely insane. And real quick, you know what? Rather than continue to talk about this, I want to give you another moment of levity. We had the Timberwolves thing earlier that was funny. Get this. This is just another moment. Our secret America moment of levity. So the Department of Veteran Affairs recently wasted $1,079,366 in taxpayer funds by studying on a study teaching teenage ferrets to binge drink alcohol. Over $1 million to teach teenage ferrets how to binge drink alcohol.
What?
That's your government.
What? That you might as well put on a mask, a ski mask, and a gun, and just rob me at gunpoint.
And that's the VA taking $1 million. Do you actually think they used $1 million to buy ferrets and spoon feed them alcohol? First of all, it makes no sense. Second of all, I could do that for $100. I could buy 3 ferrets, some vodka, shove it down their throats. You don't need $1 million to do that. That's what we call theft.
We have homeless veterans. We have homeless veterans, and really? That's egregious. Again.
Absolutely. But see, it's theft, though. It's not a waste of money. This money had to have been stolen. You can't waste $1 million on something like that. It's not possible.
Insane. Right. Right. Exactly. What did those ferrets cost? $250,000 a piece?
I know. No, it's ridiculous. I mean, honestly, in all honesty, for the entire study, even if it was like a year long, I could take $1,000 and do that entire study for a year. You buy 10 ferrets. You just buy Burnett's vodka for $8 a fifth, shove it down their throats, and then there's your study. But why are they studying that in the first place? I have no idea. But see, the thing is, they're not studying that. You understand? That's a code for theft. And then money laundering, which, you and I are doing our own investigation into some money laundering and theft that we're going to reveal, in the coming months. But that's exactly what it is. It's just another code to steal your money. They can say whatever the hell they want. And you notice the stuff that Doge came out with, all the stuff that they came out with, like giving condoms to people over the Middle East or something, whatever it is, buying 1 million condoms for Saudi Arabia, all those things. Believe it or not, our government can say whatever the hell they want and then steal your money. Oh yeah, no, we bought 1 million condoms for Saudi Arabians. Oh yeah, no, we taught ferrets to binge drink, and they'll steal your money and you can't do anything about it.
Exactly, which is why I don't want to give the federal government any more power than they already have, or any more programs than they already have. Hello, single payer healthcare. What are you, crazy? And it seems like every program, everything they do, they figure out a way to steal from us. You just said it. These studies, right? These social programs, every single thing that the government does, it seems they're finding a way to steal from us.
Oh, absolutely. They can literally say whatever they want and take millions of dollars, and you just have to, you have to take it. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, there's not like there's anything you can do. Let me tell you, look, there was another study that it cost taxpayers $600,000, and it was for the procurement and distribution of human fetal tissue. All right, $600,000 to procure and distribute fetal tissue. Let me give you a few more things. $1.5 million studying the effect of yoga on goats.
Why?
$1.5 million studying the effects of yoga on goats. $1.7 billion maintaining empty office buildings. They spent almost $2 billion. $5 million on a campaign to promote an alternative music scene to get hipsters to stop smoking. $2 million to create an internship program that resulted in the hiring of one full-time employee at the Department of Agriculture. In 2021 alone, the government managed to misplace $281 billion in payments. You got $1 million for studying the effects of music on dairy cows. $1.7 million to study the effects of alcohol on fish.
Jack, if you said 280 billion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you lost $2.80 from your job, would you have to answer for it?
Oh, hell yeah. I think everybody would.
Right. $280 billion. What could you do with $280 billion that they just lost? That's just gone. No, it's not.
I could rule the world with 280. Are you kidding me?
It's not just gone. We know it's not just gone. It went somewhere, right?
You don't just misplace. I mean, we talked about this before. Remember what happened on 9/11? You're a 9/11 first responder. You remember what happened the day before 9/11? Does anybody remember what happened the day before 9/11? No, you don't. And you know why? Because of 9/11. But I'm going to tell you what happened the day before 9/11. Donald Rumsfeld came to the podium, and he said that the Pentagon had failed an audit and lost $2.1 trillion. Trillion with a T. $2.1 trillion. The very next day, something happened that made them forget about it forever, and the Pentagon office was hit. And all those files were lost.
Jack, when was the last time the Pentagon actually passed an audit? During the Eisenhower administration?
They've failed 7 consecutive audits now, yes.
Again, our money. That's why I went to Ohio. That's why I drove 10 hours each way, because I wanted to see for myself. I wanted to get involved and say, I want to see these places for myself and actually be able to come back here and tell you guys, yeah, I think this stuff is real. I think this fraud is real. I'm not saying all are, but it's out there. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't need to be a daycare every 1/8 of a mile in Columbus, Ohio. It all goes to the same thing. Everything the government does, whether it be federal, local, state, county, they're all finding ways to skim and steal.
Yeah, and I don't think people... Yeah, you're right. I don't think people understand how much $1 trillion is. We're talking about $2.1 trillion. That's enough to buy every country on earth. All right, you could buy every country on earth with $2 trillion.
You can't quantify it. You can't quantify
No.
$1 trillion. It's like trying to quantify the universe, like the amount of stars or how big.
Exactly.
How big, you know what I mean? Like how long it would take to get another galaxy. You can't quantify it. It's
No. People hear
thing.
these numbers. They can't understand it. It's impossible to understand. But that kind of money is why something like 9/11 would happen. All right. He informed about this. The next day, 9/11 happened. And the Pentagon office where this investigation was going on just happened to get destroyed. Happened to get destroyed the next day. You tell me.
It's convenient. I'll say that much.
Very convenient. Yes, you are. It's about the most convenient thing I've ever seen happen when you steal $2.1 trillion. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And these numbers we're talking about, Jack, when you talk 2.1 trillion, when you talk about 286 billion, when you talk about 2 million, the things that this money could be used for people, we talk about people who actually need it. Schools, health insurance, all the stuff the states could be using, to help people. We wouldn't have to pay taxes to pay for any of these things.
No. I told you in the previous episode, 50 cents of every tax dollar we spend, whether it's sales tax, income tax, property tax, is stolen by fraud. 50 cents of every dollar is stolen by fraud. I can promise you that much.
Insane. All right, go ahead. What else you got for me?
Well, I will tell you something positive if you ask me. President Donald Trump just recently has expressed dissatisfaction and his very unhappiness to his aides regarding Pam Bondi's performance. So I'm hoping we're going to see in the near future, Pam Bondi, going to go bye-bye, hopefully in the near future, because he's no longer just putting out memes. He's actually expressing it to his aides that he is very dissatisfied with her performance.
Well, we'll see. It's either going to be one or two things, Jack. She's either going to stick around and something's actually going to happen, or she's going to be gone. But when does he wait till? We know we want stuff to happen before the midterms, right? We know we need that. And it can't be the day before. It has to be a couple of months before the midterms at minimum. I would say 3 or 4 months before the midterms. We need something, a bombshell to drop on accountability for so many people within our government.
It's got to happen well before the midterms. Otherwise, we are going to lose both, and Donald Trump will be removed as president. We already showed you in the previous episode what they are using to remove him after the 2026 midterms. He will be removed as president if they win the House and the Senate. Jay, you all right?
Yep. I'm good. I hear you now. You cut out when you said you're going to lose the House and the Senate just for a second.
That was weird. Am I cutting out again?
No, I hear you now. You're perfect now.
That's weird. I don't know. For some reason, it started. I don't know. It's weird. It's all right.
Listen,
anyways,
the internet follies. It's we need to listen, everybody. We need to pay more money for solid internet. Okay, more surcharges.
Yeah. See, the thing is, if we gave the government more of our money, they could fix climate change, and this wouldn't be happening.
Exactly. Take some of that fraud money, and they'll fix it. Trust them.
Yes.
Utopia awaits. They swear.
Exactly. All right, so we got about 17 minutes, but I want to show you 2 more things before we go, because these are very, very interesting things, Jay. So let me tell you, let's see. One of them is actually got to do with the fraud that we were talking about. Oh, real quick, did you know that, and this is something else beyond the other 2 things. This is a quick sidebar. There is a guy named Jonathan Gerlach who was in Pennsylvania, in the outskirts of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who has just been arrested because they found more than 100 full and partial sets of human remains in his home.
What was this guy, Jeffrey Dahmer's brother?
100. I'm talking skulls. The reason that they found him is because they were doing surveillance, and investigators spotted bones and skulls inside his vehicle in plain view.
Oh, listen, I always drive around. Maybe it was Halloween, Jack, because I drive around with skulls and bones in my car in plain view during Halloween. They're fake.
Could you imagine, man? I'm talking skulls, torsos. There was even pacemakers in this man's home.
What's this guy's deal other than being a complete psychopath?
It's nuts, man. I mean, you're talking mummified remains, everything. I mean, Absolutely insane stuff. But that was just a quick sidebar. I just wanted to mention that because some of the things that go on are absolutely crazy. Okay,
You never know who your neighbor is, Jack. You never know who your neighbor is, do you?
No, you definitely never know that, and you can learn that from Anthony Soul, the Cleveland Strangler. That was an absolutely insane case. You never know who your neighbor is. You watch something about that, and then you'll learn a thing or two. But let me tell you real quick about the fraud thing that we just spoke about. Did you know? And I don't know if you guys know this. There's nobody is talking about this. Authorities discovered $700 million in suitcases attempted to be taken out of the country by Somali couriers at a Minnesota airport. $700 million, I said.
And Tim Walz is still the governor.
Yeah. And this was by Somali couriers at a Minnesota airport. In fact, I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to show you the long video. I just want to show you the actual, the money itself. I want people to see this. This is crazy. So take a listen. I'm just going to fast forward so you can see the money.
We're going to turn our attention back to containing hundreds of millions of dollars in a Minnesota airport. Now, in the meantime, Republicans are working to cut funding for Somali-led organizations with alleged ties to the massive fraud scandal. Now, as the FBI pushes forward with its own investigation, one key question arises: what does accountability even look like in this?
We're talking $700 million in cash at a Minnesota airport by Somali couriers. How in the hell? Do you know how much money weighs? Do you know how $1 million weighs like 20 pounds or something? I mean, imagine $700 million.
Well, the good news for whoever this was is they'd have enough money to pay the overweight baggage fee.
True that. Yeah, they did that. And they were flying first. I think they were flying first class, so they got an extra free checked bag.
Excellent. And another thing about that video, Jack, those earrings that reporter was wearing, very interesting. I don't know if you caught those, but I catch those kind of things.
So that's what you were focused on. There was $700 million by a Somali courier. You're focused on the woman's earrings. It's good to know where your priorities are, Jay.
I couldn't help it.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's all good. That's what I'm here for, man, to put you in check. I gotta catch what you don't. The earrings.
Right. Well, listen, we help each other out. You caught the money, I caught the earrings. So
exactly. And I will say that just looking real quick, those are hideous, man. They're big green earrings. What the hell is she doing?
That's what
I don't know. I didn't notice them because I was too focused on the money. But that is crazy, man. Those huge green earrings. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I mean, absolutely insane. Yeah, but I mean, what do you think about that, Jay? You're talking about $700 million. First of all, that's going to weigh upwards of 1,400 pounds, 1,400 pounds. The max a normal person is supposed to be allowed to take on a flight is $10,000. They got $700 million in cash. I mean, how do you even carry something like that? What is that, Jay?
I don't know. I mean, and they just went over the IRS threshold too by about 699,999. I mean, are you kidding me? I don't even know what to say. Or other than, Somali. Oh, what a shock. But Jack, you're being a racist because why do you keep picking on these Somalis, Jack? I don't understand.
You're right.
Make sense to me. I mean, is it because everything that they're doing in Minnesota involves fraud? Maybe that's why.
No, it's because they're Somali.
Right.
I mean, if they were white, I would allow them to steal $700 of my million of my tax dollars. But since they're Somali, I can't. I just can't do it.
Absolutely. Listen, and as an Italian, I had no problem with the mafia just because I'm Italian, of course. Oh, by the way, everybody, that's not true. And do you know who took down the mafia? The modern day mafia was taken down by
Rudy Giuliani,
an Italian. Correct.
Yeah,
that's correct. Maybe a Somali. Maybe we need somebody from that community to actually step up and try to help out a little bit and try to take these people down. That would be nice. That would be nice.
You're right about that. So one of the things that we are going to talk about that we actually put as part of the title of the show is called Selling Snap. And why we're going to talk about that is because there is a flea market that was just caught. I don't know when it was caught, but there's a flea market in Florida that was caught. And these people, it was over 22 different vendors at this flea market that were exchanging people's EBT cards for cash, weapons like AK-47s, and even sex acts. Food stamps for sex, for guns, and for cash. That is exactly what is happening in this Florida flea market right now. That is literally a flea market just set up for this sort of thing. Take a listen.
And in Florida, the Opelika-Hialeah flea market became a case study in how quickly SNAP benefits, which are on a state-issued debit card, turn into cash, guns, and even sex trafficking.
Food stamp fraud. Police and the feds sweep into a South Florida flea market and make dozens of arrests.
We were seeing EBT being exchanged for assault weapons, AK-47s, cash, 50 cents on the dollar. People were exchanging sex with workers for EBT benefits. That's not what this entitlement program design was made for.
Really? Is that not what it's made for? Are you sure?
Wow, put him in charge of the investigation. Yeah, that's quite a profound statement. Again, how are these programs in place and this easy to manipulate into stuff like that? How is it this easy to do? You would think that we'd put these programs in place, and the first thing you'd want. Remember the movie Catch Me If You Can, Jack? With
oh yeah, I love that movie. One of my
Frank
favorites.
Abagnale.
Yeah,
right.
That's a true story. Yeah,
right. True story. What did they do with Frank Abagnale after they caught him? They put him to work.
Exactly.
And said, hey, you're going to help us catch this kind of stuff. You're going to help us tell us how to safeguard against this kind of stuff. Why is nobody doing any of this? You're telling me we can't pay somebody a good amount of money that would save us? You know, I'll pay him $5 million a year, but it's going to save us hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. I'll pay somebody $5 million a year to figure out how do you put these programs in place and make it almost impossible for somebody to manipulate it and commit fraud. That, to me, you can't pay these people enough who could tell us these things.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's something that they should be doing. And, the smart person would do such a thing. But, they kind of allow this to happen because any kind of extra eyes on something could call attention to something that they might be doing.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You don't want extra eyes on something because, yeah, they'll look at this, but then they might also find this.
And it'll stop their gravy train.
Exactly. And I will tell you that the theft and the fraud is from every single agency in America, from federal, state, and local. There is some sort of fraud going on at every single agency, Jay. I can almost guarantee it.
Oh, guaranteed. Do you have anything else? Because if you don't, I have something Stock Mom found yesterday to do with. If you want, I'll get to it. If not, if you have something, go with it, and we could talk about it next time because I thought it was interesting. But if you have something, go with it.
Well, the only thing I was going to show real quick is Putin and how masterful he is, because he said something that was very poignant. But go ahead and say what you're going to say, and then if we have time, I'll show this.
Yeah, yesterday, Stock Mom, she found this post on Craigslist, how basically, how we're talking about protesters and stuff. We were talking about that earlier. And there's basically in Boston on Craigslist it's straight as they're seeking paid protesters in downtown Boston to pay them, Jack, $150 a day plus lunch to push for fair housing and inclusivity in Boston.
Wow. Plus lunch.
Plus lunch. So you're telling me that Jack, how many of these protesters are paid? I'm going to say it's over half of them at this point.
Oh, no. It's at least 75%. At least 75%.
This is insane. Literally on Craigslist, you can go. And she actually applied. I haven't gotten back to her yet. But
well, that's good. I'd love to see it from the inside. But I will tell you that it's not just paid protesters. Believe it or not, when you see mass casualty events that are hoaxes, not false flags, but hoaxes, they will actually have crisis actor ads for crisis actors that they pay them, a certain amount per hour to pretend like they're injured. They'll put the makeup on them and all that stuff. These things happen all the time. In fact, anybody that's in a major city right now that's watching this, go to Craigslist, type in crisis actor, type in paid protester. You will see ads for both. I promise you.
Or get a little creative with the words, put in gathering or peaceful, just because the big buzzwords they try to stay away from, I think, but you can find it. And the stuff you're going to find on there, and when they tell you none of these people getting paid, no, you'd be like, no, your ads are here. And here's the link. There are legit links to this. It's not fake. So to just debunk all this stuff, you're going to hear from people going to tell you that it's not going on. It's flat out going on. They're not even trying to hide it anymore.
No, they're not. So we got a few minutes left. So what I want to do is, okay, so everybody tries the media in America tries to frame Putin as the bad guy, which is how you know he's not the bad guy. I personally think that Putin and Trump are the last two heads of superpowers that are not part of the global cabal. There are others like the prime minister of Japan, Viktor Orban in Turkey or Hungary, excuse me, that are not part of the global cabal. But I think I'm talking about superpower countries here, China, Russia, these kind of things. I think Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump are the last two heads of major world superpowers that are not part of the global cabal. And that's why you will see the media hate Vladimir Putin. You will see the media hate Donald Trump. And that's why you should root for them. I am going to pull up something right now. Now, he speaks in Russian, but it's subtitled. So I'm still going to read it to you because I want you to see this. So I'm going to pull this up right now. This right here is Vladimir Putin. Take a listen. Let me start this over. He says, I want ordinary citizens of Western countries to hear too. You are currently being persistently persuaded that all your difficulties are the result of some hostile actions by Russia, that you must pay for the fight against the mythical Russian threat out of your own pocket. All of this is a lie. The truth is that the current problems faced by millions of people in the West are the result of years of actions by the ruling elites of their countries. Their mistakes, short-sightedness, and ambition. These elites are not thinking about how to improve the lives of their citizens in Western countries. They are obsessed with their own selfish interests and super profits. I want ordinary... Yeah, that was the end of it. But yeah, that's what he's talking about right there. What he just said was absolutely 100% true, Jay. He said that, he said, you are told to blame Russia for your problems, but that's a lie. Your hardships are the result of your own elite's greed and their selfish interests. Jay, what do you have to say about that?
Well, here's what I'll say about it. I never for a second thought that Russia was doing anything to affect my life in any kind of bad way. I got to be honest. The Cold War has been over for a long time. We defeated Russia in that war a long time ago, thanks to Ronald Reagan.
And do you think, hold on real quick, do you think Russia could not just stomp Ukraine in a day if they really wanted to? Russia is a superpower.
Well, obviously a nuclear power. I mean, if they really wanted to, yes, they could obviously do so. Obviously, they could do so. I would say yes.
So Putin is not the bad guy here.
I don't know if he's a good guy, but
I wouldn't say he's a good guy. I'm just telling you, he's not the
devil incarnate that they want to make you believe.
Exactly. He may not be the good guy, but I can tell you right now that he's the devil you know. He's the one that can help. He's the only one that is helping fight against this global cabal. Him and Donald Trump are the last two heads of major superpowers in the world that are not part of this global cabal. We need him to stay where he is, because if somebody else takes over eventually, that's the devil you don't know.
Yeah, as far as in control of a superpower that's nuclear, absolutely vital that he stays where he is. And like you said, it was a good point. If the media hates you, then you're probably doing something right, at least.
Exactly.
Something. Venezuela's a different ball game. It's Maduro. It's not a nuclear superpower. So we can, do what we got to do there. No, we do not want Vladimir Putin getting removed from power. That would be a disaster.
Oh, absolutely disaster. Real quick, before we go, I just want to say we proved right here at the beginning of this show that the guy in the U-Haul was there to peacefully protest. He did not try to run anybody down. I showed video that even the mainstream media does not have their hands on. Video that you cannot find, apparently, on the internet. That is what we do here at Secret America. We find the things that nobody else can find, the things that the media covers up, because we show you the secrets behind the flag of America. Jay, you got anything else to say before we go?
No, man, I'm good to go, and we will see you on Thursday.
Yes, Thursday, and we're hoping to possibly even advance a little more, maybe have it a little longer, but we're gonna see what happens. All right, so thank you very much. For Jay Gatling, I am Jack Danger. Thank you for watching Secret America.
You've been listening to Secret America.